What's up, everybody? This is Edward back on another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I'm your host, Edward Anderson. I'm gonna be live for about a few minutes, maybe an hour, maybe 30 minutes. Who knows? I just got some random topics I want to go through. I'm actually about to start recording and put some videos together. Shout out to Inspire Truth for that donation with when it comes to Compassion Callous. So basically, I've started to watch that stream. So I'll be probably doing a couple of videos, going through a couple of stuff with that stream, and promoting his channel for that donation for a little bit, because that's definitely appreciated. I've been seeing some stuff on social media where I've been going around, you know, um, you know, from Donald Trump and the Iran thing, which I'm gonna be careful what I speak on with that, because truth be told, you already know how they probably trying to control the airwaves when it comes to social media. I mean, at the end of the day, what I will say about the wars, these wars, and quite frankly, it's almost like it doesn't matter who you vote for, but what I will say is this: the media has an obligation and a job to cover this stuff. Unfortunately, because the media is controlled by corporations that are, quite frankly, bent over because of the FCC. They don't. Um, the media has always been piss poor, absolutely piss poor, about educating the people when it comes to geopolitics. I'm just gonna keep it straight. The mainstream media, I wouldn't listen to almost anything they say when it comes to geopolitics, because there's this kind of mentality that really average Americans don't need to know, can't understand what's going on, because a lot of the context of these things aren't there. That's not to say you should look at TikTok. If truth be told, TikTok is a whole bunch of propaganda. The only thing I watch on TikTok when it comes to geopolitics really is like the how things happen and maybe some of the historical context of things, and that's really more YouTube. But as far as like how certain military operations are being done from a more technical standpoint, like bringing a aircraft carrier over here doing a 24-hour, 12-hour shift thing. But when it comes to like people's opinions, I mean, TikTok, I definitely don't pay attention to. Because everybody has like an angle. Everybody has an angle. Um, I'm not saying that everything on there is BS, but like it's so much propaganda unless you have like very deep. If you don't really know what's real and what's not real, and I'm gonna keep it real. I'm not BGS on geopolitics. I don't know I know context on certain things on a lot of stuff, but I don't know like currently. Like it's very hard to find the facts. It's very hard to find the facts. And that's an issue, because regardless of people's opinions, if I can't find the facts, then I'm not even going to look. But what I will say is the idea, what I will say, and this is what I've kind of been saying, is I think personally BB needs to go. I think BB should not be prime minister. They need another prime minister. I think regardless of what people say about, the state of we all know who, as long as he's there, it's gonna be problematic. That's to me, that's like an immediate thing. He needs to go. He should not be prime minister. He was on trial before that. And I'm not gonna make this about him, but he has overstayed his prime ministership. And quite frankly, until like, you know, but I think how they're portraying this stuff, I don't think is what's really going on. You know, I don't. But that being said, let me jump on something else. Because stuff like that, I'm probably going to start talking more, frankly, in the Patreon. Because everything ain't for YouTube. You got the Oscars coming this Sunday, which is like, what, 5 days away? Which, normally is not a big deal. I'm not saying it is a big deal, but, Sinners is up. Delroy is up. Obviously, Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler are up. So we'll see what happens. I'm not gonna watch it at all, but I'm sure there'll be some commentary with that. You got the Timothy Chalamet thing where he's trying to be put up as an anti Ryan Coogler, which I don't understand. number one, they wouldn't even go after the same roles. So it's like I don't really get why would he be an anti Ryan Coogler? Wouldn't he be like an anti Tom Holland? Which, by the way, him and Zendaya apparently are married. Kudos to them. I just don't get that. If y'all got questions, ask them. But I just don't get that. I don't get that. Other than this new Great White Hope thing, which is kind of crazy. But honestly, I think overall that'll hurt Timothy Chalamet's career because he said something about he said something. I've seen a lot of white women really being critical of Timothy Chalamet for their own reasons. And I'm talking about even before the ballerina thing. And I'm like, yo, like you kind of clown really. I hate to say ballerina is shout out to Misty Copeland because there are black ballerinas, but you're kind of shitting on like white, like what's considered more the white arts, the elite arts. You kind of shitted on that. This is a situation question was talking about AI and stuff like that. And so yeah. So now a lot of white women feel some type of way about him. And it's like, yo, black people aren't really your audience anyway. So, you know, the reality, and I said it before, I'm gonna say it again. Timothy Chalamet is not the type of dude that can make the right wing crossover. He's not, no. He's too metro, he's too Holly, he looks too Hollywood. He looks like a product of Hollywood. He doesn't look like a product of the Midwest, or he doesn't come off that way. What's up? Night Show Super Trucker. He said knockout 1998. Hey Ed, I sent you something in the Edwards request corner in the Discord. Age gap trying to raise the age of consent. So okay, yeah, I'll take a look at it. I mean, as far I honestly a lot of the age of consent stuff, that stuff is probably gonna start going to Patreon more. I'll do some things, but like I'm kind of asking for a second strike, me going after that constantly. Although there's ways to put it in other videos. Like, for instance, DJ Academic's been talking to this chick, Samaya, and it's been a back and forth with that. And, this chick, who's 20 and 19, 20, she's been with London on the track, apparently, in the DR, and they got a video with them working on a song. London on the track gets paid 250,000 per song, right? Yet somehow he's doing this for her for free. Come on, man. With his history, come on, man. He's 34 years old, by the way. So that's a point because they don't care about understand age gaps is just something. That's just sexual politicking. They don't care about it. When it's a nigga they like and a nigga they want, they don't care about it. A lot of these women keep acting like if a dude doesn't has enough status in her mind, that all of a sudden like dude, these chicks may have ideals, but they have exceptions. If they can get a 6 foot dude, get all the other stuff, like I don't even know why we lying, And again, that's they can change the age of consent. They can change that, but understand something. Here's the problem. The problem with that, when you hear a lot of people talk about age of consent, because that's going to affect a lot of people. Even a lot of females. They're like, there's a reason the laws are where the laws are. So I don't, and again, the issue is really not age of consent. The issue they have is age gaps. We're not going to create these laws. We're just not because it's one thing to have this conversation in social media, but once you start having it in the real media and you actually start trying to justify, you can't be over a 10-year age gap. Like it just sounds silly and sounds stupid. And because they're not honest about why they want to do these things. Like, for instance, like, first of all, you're gonna, like, let's just be very real about it. You live in a country is made a white, and not even just a white country. When it comes to white people, true, when it comes to, this is true for Asians too, but not necessarily in America. But when it comes to white people and Hispanics in particular, but you can throw some of the Asians in there, like, you're not going to be able to, like, you are not going to be able to justify that. You're not going to be able to get that through. You're just not. And so the best thing you have is to try to deal with the social order, but that only works on celebrities and stuff. Like, you sitting here trying to talk about age appropriate and all this other stuff. Like it's just not going to work. Because to me, number one, it's this idea that this is something men are doing to women, as if women, like, you just had Tracy Ellis Ross talking about dealing with young dudes. You just had what's her name? that she's South African, the white chick. You know what I'm talking about. She played in Hancock and other stuff. She was talking about dealing with younger men. South. I mean, you got the situation. She's talking about dealing with Demi Moore and Ashton Kutcher. Like this again. I mean, shoot, Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey. I don't know if they're exactly number 10. So like when you sit here and you're trying to do it, it's very obvious that you're trying to project your own sexual politics and insecurity on the other people. I appreciate that, Gap Two Gang. Appreciate that with the 199. He said I inspired this last video. Yeah, Charlize Theron. Like let's keep it real. So we all know that a lot of y'all behind the scenes are doing some stuff y'all ain't supposed to do. And we're gonna have a real conversation when it comes to a lot of dudes that lose their virginity or older women. They ain't got no business. Again, it's one way. All this is about is trying to regulate men. That's all it's about. It's trying to regulate men and trying, as people call it, mate guarding. That's all it's about. And so men seem to be too afraid to push back on that because and so what happens is this is another example of women trying to dictate the social game rules and men just going along with that and doing stuff on the sneak. But the problem is, white men and Hispanic men are not going for that. They're not going to go for that because in their cult, like they're just not. This bullshit about you all are upset because you're getting old, and eventually, some folks are going to push back on that. Just they're not going to let their white boys get regulated like that, and they're not going to even put that shit on the law because we all know what's going to happen. Like, because for instance, you notice how you never see these chicks, like you see black women, young black women dating dudes 25 years older than them if they're white. They don't never had nothing to say. So it's like, yo, what are we really talking about? So they can try to push for that all they want to, but there's a reason you don't hear no politicians speaking on that because they're not gonna do it. Because truth be told, they're not gonna do it. Like and like I said, my thing is very simple. If you can't fuck, you can't vote. We got a situation where the draft might get initiated. If you can't fuck, you can't vote. If you're not old enough to fuck, then you're not old enough to vote because we're not going to have this special situation where you're an adult in every other aspect, but because some random females feel some type of way about the fact that they're old and they tricked off their youth, that they about to sit here and tell young girls, like, see, it's their body, their choice until it's stuff that interferes with them, with older women. He said being against, so essentially what they want, they just want to be able to regulate men. That's all that is. And I want you to really think about it. Gay marriage has been around for 11 years now. And since then, all you see is women can do whatever they want. And not all this is designed because let's be clear here. Age gaps are meaningless in homosexual relationships. So all of this is designed to regulate hetero straight men, particularly straight black men, but straight men in general. That is the only reason these things exist. So it's like you all are extremely comfortable regulating sexuality of straight men, yet you get upset when men are regulating anything that has to do with you. Like let's keep it real. And so eventually people are going to start pushing back on it. Like I said, paternity fraud, I'll give you your age of consent, but you're going to give me paternity fraud. And I promise you, you got women that are lying. It was one chick, I still got to do a video on this talking about mandatory DNA tests would harm women. And it's funny because she was trying to talk about how men will kill women and shit because they don't want it known that they're dealing with underage females. It's like that's gonna be more likely. You know how they are. They always use not wanting to do something as a threat to female safety or the appearance of it. We know what time it is. We know what time it is. And yeah, and the younger and understand, yeah, you're creating this situation where women are actually dangerous to deal with. And then you're wondering why, where's the men at? You're literally creating a situation where women are actually dangerous to be around. Because if they say something Like it's a situation right now in the white community with a guy by the name of Miss Kiff and Emmy Rude. These are like white people, white people, white problems, blah blah blah. But she they had a bad relationship, a toxic relationship, blah 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 blah. And she basically put it out there that he assaulted her, right? And that's important because now this is like years ago now, but now this is starting to come up. Right. And this is like white streaming. I don't personally give a fuck about it. Shout out to Turkey Tom. But these are things I've come across, learning about white YouTube. And this is real money you're dealing with. Real money you're dealing with. But basically what's starting to come, and you got some black YouTubers around there that they deal with like mainstream, more mainstream YouTube and not the niche, the black sector. I mean, they do deal with the black sector, but they're more like, the other stuff too. Which, by the way, Platboy Max, a lot of these dudes that are like, man, I'm so disappointed in some of these fools, man. Like on some for real stuff. Yeah, man, I wasn't raised in that culture. It's like, wow. And these would be the same people that the reason why they're even thought of as cool is because of their blackness. Yet they say, oh, don't even get me started on that. But anyway, she she's starting to say that she wasn't really assaulted. She just feels like she was assaulted. And then people are talking about her emotional truth. Fuck her emotional truth. Fuck her emotional truth. I feel like it was like SA because how toxic it was. Fuck her emotional truth. And so apparently he's suing her for defamation. And the reality is the Miskiff guy kind of came. The problem with Miskiff is a lot of people don't like him for different reasons. So it's kind of like what happens with us when you don't like a black person. Like let's say Act. Like let's say people don't like Act. And it's like Act kind of gotten beyond black people to really deal with him unless somebody's really willing to go to jail to go get at him. Right? But if a white person decides, like I like with Diddy, a lot of people didn't like Diddy, but it wasn't until white people had decided, okay, it's time for it to be over for Diddy, right? That you know, you know how it is. White people are coming for you. So because white people are coming for you, black people are like, you know what? Fuck you, man. We can't get at you, but that white man can. So it's like people don't defend somebody as hard because it's like you got some crimes against black people, and it kind of like what happens with Coons too, right? Yeah, she said emotional truth. That's literally what people would say. Well, her emotional truth, and when you hear people say this, this is what they think. This is how they justify saying some shit. I just feel like it was SA because of my emotional truth. And you say that after you've ruined his career. And I'm not saying he hasn't said anything, he hasn't done anything, but they use SA on purpose. They do that on purpose because they know it works. And until we get in a society, unfortunately, and it's sad because I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. What's gonna eventually happen is we're gonna go from believe all women to never believe these chicks. That's where it's gonna go because people, because again, understand. Let me give you a perfect example. How so fucking for real bad it can get. Let me give you an example. So I shared this video, and I've since did a little bit of research on this and verified it. I shared a video with in the Discord about To Catch a Predator, right? The show To Catch a Predator. The show To Catch a Predator. And with Chris Hansen, we all know the show. At least y'all know of the show. All right. And nobody really, it's not really talked about why the show got canceled because it was a popular show. The show got canceled, and I shared a video that went through why the show got canceled, and the video had receipts, And the show got canceled because of one particular sting that they did, that they ended up getting like a prosecutor in like a local town or something, and the prosecutor killed himself. The prosecutor packed himself up, and he packed himself up on television. He packed, well, not on television, he packed himself up in front of the police. So basically, they did something that they never did before, because somehow he stopped communicating with the because they got a lot of information on him as far as the decoy, but for some reason he stopped communicating with the decoy abruptly, and basically they got the warrants and stuff, and they went to him to arrest him. And this is a white dude, lily white dude, southern town kind of thing. And basically he had a gun with him, and he took the gun, he packed himself up in his head. And that's why the show, and they got sued. NBC got sued by the sister, saying that, you know, this is a reality show, this is not real, this was BS. And I'm like, yo, he wouldn't have did that over, come on. And by the way, they had evidence of CP. They had evidence of CP on his phone as well as his computers. So this is not just a thing where, okay, this is rumor and innuendo. They had stuff outside of just the the sting, right? And it was, and dude played on this video. He played for about 15 minutes, like audio of what was being said. So this is not he say she say, like the receipts are there. Like even in the video, it was actually fascinating. And a couple of things. One is because that dude is was in a position of power. Let's just be real about that. He was in a position of power, being a prosecutor, so it wasn't just some randoms. Two, they already didn't like the show because how much the show was catching white people. We already know. And then, but the point is, his sister was the one doing the suit, and it's like, yo, you really try to act like she was just straight up ignoring. Hold on one second, y'all. Yeah, appreciate the $10, Tony0785, saying I saw a clip on TSG Uncut of a 68-year-old woman had a 26-year-old boyfriend, and one of her family members of the 68-year-old was giggling, but they clowned Danny Glover's messing with a video. Yeah, double standard is real. That's why when women talk about double standards, I'd be like, what fucking double standard? Like, this is a real, like, legally damn near, like, social penalizing double standard. Notice how women never talk about, and quite frankly, this should be every time women bring up the idea of double standards, I'm like, we absolutely have a double standard. Like, you all can date underage. You all can date. Age gaps don't really exist for women. You all will never have an opinion of a woman dealing with under a dude. And quite frankly, a lot of bitches don't care about if the dude's underage. Let's just keep it real. Like, men dating underage women should be dealt with. But let's keep it real. If a 40-year-old is dating a 17-year-old, y'all are not gonna give a fuck. Not how you would if it was the opposite. Y'all are not gonna give a fuck. Y'all may at best roll your eyes with a female. Exactly. Cher is celebrated.
share because that's seen as women empowerment. That's seen as fertility, and we know why it is. It's that way because you all want to believe that your sexual marketplace value will never go down. That's really what drives that, and you all want to promote that. You all may be willing to go through different lengths to promote that, but the truth is, you all like that out there. Versus with men, we gotta be honest that people try to use what's moral. People confuse what is moral with what they want to happen, and they hide behind that. Most of these people, because if you really believed it was moral, because first of all, this is why people are supposed to be married in the first place, because you were never meant to be throwing that pussy everywhere like that. You weren't. So now that everybody wants to talk about casual sex, now women are gonna you what you all never thought that women were gonna leverage their youth. Now you got these females that society has groomed. Because let's keep it real. The music grooms these girls. The teachers groom these girls. The parents in their previous habits and what they do today and what they did before is grooming them. And so you're thinking, oh, it's the men. These women, today's females, and I would argue in the last like 6 years that are turning 18 for 6, 7, 8 years and going forward, they were raised by city girls. They weren't raised, but it wasn't the dudes, the rappers that had all these video vixens and got these women booty popping. It's the women doing that. So you're trying to reach back to the 2000s, all of these, and I would argue pretty much most of the Z's. And so you're trying to read, because remember, Z's have only been turning 18 for 12 years, like 11 years. So 11 years ago was 2015. That was when City Girls was really starting to pop. That was when it was starting to switch. So this idea that you want to blame men. No, these women were groomed. These women are following in behind Summer Walker. These women are following in behind Cardi B, Nicki Minaj before that. That is who these were. City girls, young Miami JC. Look at what she did with Diddy. That is who these chicks are following in behind. So this idea that females are, it's the men that are driving this up, that's bullshit. But that's the narrative they want because they always want to make it like it's a reaction to what the men are doing. See, women love patriarchy, a fake patriarchy, as long as they can use it to blame to get out of jail for their actions. So again, these same women, remember, the first Z's are about to turn 30, or at least all millennials. Yeah, all millennials are out of their 30s, are out of their 20s after this year. So now you start to see females starting to recycle that shit. They starting to say, now we were groomed, now we were manipulated. No, you all are actually the first group that did what the fuck. By the way, Kim Kardashian before that, you all were the first group to do what the fuck you wanted to do outside of marriage and all of that. And now what you're trying to do is you're trying to find you a Russell Wilson, a nigga that looks good enough and has money that's going to let you kind of be outside. And it's not going to work that way because the problem is you got too many women that are outside. You have too many women. You have too many women that are not connected to nobody for real, for real. A lot of gypsy class chicks. You have women that are side chicks. You have women that are side chicks to married men. You have women that there's black men that are married to non-black. I'm talking about black women. That black men are married to non-black women and got black women as side chicks. That's literally that is the price of you wanting to be independent. And a lot of these chicks are suffering in silence. And I'm not talking about no straight rats. I'm talking about women that got low key professional jobs, like secretarial jobs, nurses. Do not believe that these chicks are all celibate. I know Glenn and Cameron did a video talk about all these ain't fucking, but all these women are 304s. No, a lot of these women are fucking. They just ain't tied to nobody. And a lot of these chicks, they allowed themselves to get so obese and stuff because they opted out because they can't get the top tier of what they want. That it is what it is. And by the way, they don't count women having sexual contact with other women. They don't count that. So when you hear a lot of this politicking and all this other stuff, and my thing too, because he reactivated disruptive male, and shout out to that. My thing too, man, is I always tell people, look, man, I'm not the be all end all. I'm not the be all. I listen to Shissa Zed. He's married. Poor Man Podcast is married. I think Mediocre's in the middle. You know, People want to, a lot, and a lot of times what gets on my nerves is people go after red pill. They're really talking about the white boys, which is not the same thing as what we do, because really, it's really not. So it's this thing about red pill where it just means it's like nobody can never really point to anybody for real, for real. But it's just this amalgamous thing, and it's a reason for that. See, when we talk about feminism, we can give you an example of a variety of people that represent, the avatars of what we're talking about. Like it's like people can't do that with us. They want to talk about Tate. It's whoever people don't like. Apparently, Anton is like a red pillar. But my point is, live your life. Some of y'all are gonna have to learn the hard way. Some of y'all don't. Some of y'all are just going to make the mistakes and then look back. What I will say though is be very careful in making life changing mistakes. Like seriously, a lot like people want to have this thing where it's just gonna work out. Man, women are gonna do what they can get away with, and even if a chick isn't necessarily like that, she probably got friends that are like that. Like this stuff, it's people are, yeah, man, they tell you to do this and not do this. I saw a post where people talk about red pill beats up on men. This was like some random post. I'm like, yo, we all see what's out here. If people want to pretend like what's out here ain't out here, then cool. Be my guest. Find out. I don't need, I just look, I just say the news. I am not, that's one thing, like with, for instance, with BGS, a lot of people get frustrated with BGS because, and I think where that comes from is they be wanting BGS to validate their point of view. Truth be told, I don't need BGS to validate my point of view. If I have a point of view, and I really, now I may be asking a question. If I don't know, I don't know. But if I have a point of view, I don't need my point of view. Now, I'm not saying that I'm just dismissing anybody else's point of view. I'm not saying that. But what happens is the point of views are closer. I'm just highlighting something that may be considered less than or less important or whatever. But my point is I'm still highlighting it. I don't That's why a lot of people get so angry at BGS. And I'm like, yo, he has his opinion, I have mine. I'm not saying I'm dismissing his opinion. A lot of people have this mentality with certain people that their opinion can't exist with my opinion. And yes, there are certain things like that. Like for instance, me and FD signifiers. Yes. Those two things can't coagulate. They can't. They can't. But for the most part, it's like, no, that's your opinion, is mine. This is the vector I'm looking at it. This is the vector you're looking at it. There are overlap, and it is with it. Same thing with, for instance, the Russell Wilson situation. Yeah, I definitely see what BGS is talking about. That still doesn't mean that people are invalid for being mad at Russell for doing that. Because the perception is not that he's pimping Sierra. That's not the perception. That's not the perception. That's not the nobody, like BGS has been the only one to actually really say that. Even though I do see where he's coming from. But the perception that people are pulling from that is he's simping. And that matters because that's what these women are expecting other people to do. Press one if you can hear me. Press one if you can hear me. That's what I'm talking about. And so a lot of people, it's like they get mad because they be like, oh my God, you ain't validating what I'm saying. And I'm like, that's getting in the way of the. Okay, I see it. It's a discussion. Same thing with this Iranian thing. Yeah, my one of my perspectives that I wanted to highlight on arts was that yes, white people are in control, and so now white people wanting to blame black people this DEI stuff. Now, yes, that's a petty thing compared to the grand scheme of things. But I mean, when we on these panels, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. But other people will be like, acknowledge me, acknowledge what I'm saying. So what happens is they try to go hard at what he's saying. And they get so angry, frustrated to a point where they losing sleep at night. It was the same thing with Kevin. It's like, no, these things can kind of occupy the same space. This is just what I'm bringing into it. That's all. So I don't need people to validate like the stuff that I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm always right, but I don't. So when people have this thing when it comes to the red pill, and they be on some, oh, that's where this is. I was looking for that. They be on some, the red pill is this, or the red pill is teaching guys to do this. No, no, no. Red pill is doing is we're basically even like Myron and them, like what they're basically doing is doing really arithmetic. And you have other people that are saying if you was just an alpha, all alphas, that like look at Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is look, say what you want to. Dak Prescott is Dak Prescott is an NFL quarterback. He definitely has status. He definitely has a name. Most people that only watch football kind of know who he is. He's on Cowboys. It's America's team, right? And Dak Prescott got with her some kind of white Latino, whatever, and look at what happened to him. Now, by definition, who Dak Prescott is and the money he's got, that chick should just submit and play her position. But no, she didn't want to get married with a prenup. Even though she's already giving kids to Dak Prescott. She didn't want to get married with a prenup. And Texas definitely doesn't overpay for children. So she may get 10,000 or something, but she ain't gonna get the kind of money she would have got if the money that she probably would get access to is not worth what those kids she can get in child support. But she don't want a prenup. And so the funny thing is like you're finesse. See, here's the funny thing about her. She gonna be extra vengeful if Dak Prescott end up getting married to somebody else because they will sign a prenup that look as good as you because he already got 2 kids out of you. So if he got to pay like 100,000, like if he end up paying $15,000 per month, or even if he ends up paying 30,000 per kid, even if let's say he ends up paying 30 to 15 per kid, so 15 per daughter he has. At the end of the day, okay, that's 36,000 times 36,000, 3.6 million, about let's say 8 million. $8 million over the course of 18 years. And quite frankly, and this is why I've never liked back child support, because it's like, yo, if you all if you're together, none of those years should count. None of those years should count. We're not gonna back child support all the way to 8 to where they were born. No, when this relationship ended is when that starts. And they're like, his kids are like 4 or 5 or something. So yeah, so you're looking at probably like 7 million. $7 million is his biggest hit. That's tax write-off. I mean, if you're just gonna keep it real, I mean, yes, it's more than kids, and I don't think they're gonna do that because Texas is hard to get that. So chances are it'll probably be like 15,000. And let's just be real, when you got that kind of money, he's gonna pay for everything anyway. It's just paying her off. But she don't get access to alimony at all because she wanted 120 million and she wasn't shooting in the gym. She wasn't throwing them football. Bitch, shut the fuck up. And I promise you, if he was white, she would have got pressure from her family to just deal with it. I'm not the biggest fan of that, but you forget Dak is half. And see, this is where you be at mixed matters. Dak is half white, which means he got white side of his family. Like, nah, don't pay that bitch out. That's not the same as dealing with a regular brother. So you would have thought, but yeah, she finessed herself out of some money. She basically bailed him out, and he got 2 kids out of you. Basically, 2 white children out of you. So he's winning in that situation. I'm probably gonna do a video on that. Shout out to Jada Black for covering that. And that's a white Latina. So she's sitting there spazzing out. It's like, you stupid. You stupid. That tells me she really didn't want to be with him, like, for real, for real.
which is kind of like you never gonna do better than Dak Prescott with 2 kids one day. What you think? You about to get you a white boy? A cool, but he ain't gonna have no real status like that. Let's just keep it all the way real. He said Dak is light skinned, Suprema Assad certified in my That's funny. That's why, yeah, yeah. Dak would be in air camp clutch. Dak, it's just like what's his name? There's the coach of the Houston Rockets that I covered. Yeah. So at the he said that's what she's aiming for apparently. I mean, I don't think Texas is gonna give her that because Texas is generally a hostile state when it comes to child support, especially considering that the reason the relationship isn't working is because you didn't want to sign a prenup. You didn't want to sign a prenup, but you had these kids. I mean, come on now. And so she messed up because him being the Cowboys, how long he's been in the Cowboys, you're not going to be able to finesse that out of that. You're just not. But this is the game that these chicks are playing. These chicks ain't really serious. Yeah, and who knows how much this relationship has been the reason Dak ain't been really on point like that. Just to know we ain't always talk about black women, but yeah. So these women are always trying to he said he should be do the other thing. Nah, yeah, but they're not gonna do that because they know he's a football player. They know he can't be there because of the nature of what he does. So he's not gonna be able to pull an Anthony Edwards even if he gets the custody. But I'm gonna keep it real. Yeah, that's what they should do, just cash these chicks out. But a lot of these chicks don't want to. Here's the reason why a lot of these chicks don't want to be cashed out like that, because if they get cashed out like that, they know they're gonna spend it. These chicks know they're not responsible with the money. Because truth be told, if you get cashed out 3 million, you're supposed to put two of that million. You're supposed to put two of that million. This is if you get cashed out X amount of dollars, you supposed to get you a house. That's number one. Get you a house like 300,000 400,000. I mean, the way Texas prices work, especially he in Dallas, so she probably gonna spend 500,000. Get you a house and get that paid for. You supposed to put 2 million up. Cause 500, cause not having to pay, just having to pay tax on a house, you ain't gotta pay mortgage and stuff. That's 1,500 2,000 right there a month that's put back in your pocket. But see, these women, they want money. They want money. Money's magic. They don't want like to have to even think like that. They just want to be able to spend it and it's over. That's why a lot of these women will bleed through money like that. So if they get it, like just like the chick with Anthony Edwards, I know he did that on purpose because I know he knew she was gonna spend it, which low key absolutely proved that that shit was never about those kids. It wasn't about the kids, which actually probably helped him. When it comes to her trying to move it to California and stuff, it was never about those kids. By the way, everybody forgets that chick is like 8, 9, maybe 10 years older than Anthony Edwards. Everybody forgets that. This is a 24-year-old dealing with a 36-year-old, which Anthony Edwards is low key goofy for that from the start. I'm not gonna take that out of it. It's like, nigga, what are you doing? Fuck that. Like 30, you was really that compelled to fuck on some 36-year-old pussy. Cause they ain't like you fucked her once and you nutted. You fucked it. You nutted in that bitch multiple times. You are really compelled. Like seriously, you niggas are really compelled. Like all the pussy in the world and the 36-year-old bitch, that bitch ain't even that attractive like that. And she was already a single mother. Exactly. These chicks, they think they're dealing with like black royalty. Like, and I'm sorry, too many of these kids are like too many of these kids are like half siblings or half cousins to other people. I mean, this is the type of shit like this is the type of shit. This is how messy females are, man. And people can say men are like that, but like women, oh, don't even start it. Well, yeah, yeah, obviously, yeah. But the thing, yeah, you gotta pay taxes, yeah. So I mean, she spent it. She spent it. He gave her what, like 2 million or 1.5 something. She spent it that quick.
I don't even think she had that shit a year because these bitches like money's magic. Money's magic. They just think it just exists. When you get to that level, they just get goofy about it. And even the women that they build that money up themselves in sales or something, they still get stupid. They financial experts with their money. But when it comes to other, these will be the same bitches like Aisha Diaz. Aisha Diaz won't fit. She think because her logic was I make 50 grand on OnlyFans, so you should be able to accommodate 50,000. Bitch, you're a single mother. Like think about if I'm looking like I can import a bitch that looks like you. What is the chick's name? The the Pakistani chick that Abba really played. What is her name in the chat? She was getting 10,000. She was getting probably like 20,000, 25. She was getting half that. And truth be told, she looked just as good as you. And she ain't got no kid, I don't think. Yeah. Oh, she was a bottle girl. You were a bottle girl in New York because money was flying like that. No, she's a single mother too. You know how I know? Because she's got that stomach. She's got that line. Yeah, I know you talk about Ash Diaz, our other sister. No, no. She's a single mother too. Trust me, they're Dominican. You think ain't nobody nut, please. Yeah. Like at the end of the day, okay, you caught a lick, but that ain't what you worth. Like these women think that's what they're worth. I'm worth 600,000 a year. And again, these chicks think, and she's like, yeah, man. And then and here's the thing, and I ain't even mad. Like, okay, get what you gonna get. I ain't even mad at her. If there's a goofy that's gonna pay it, it's gonna whatever. But my thing, because she went off on Bow Wow. But my thing is, all these other women that are trying to justify, they're trying to sell you on that's reasonable. Well, you got to understand, she can make that. Yes, a lot of women can make a lot of money selling pussy. So yes, but at the end of the day, you like no, she's not worth. That's the point of you making the point. So, and that's what I was telling you. These women think that if they make $1 million a year, they think a man is supposed to at least match that. That's gay. They know that's not true. You really believe that these white boys are giving these bitches that much money? And remember, Aisha Diaz used to be known for going to Dubai. Aisha Diaz used to go to Dubai. So yeah, them Arabs gonna give you that money because them Arabs are shitting on you. I remember Aisha Diaz going all the way back to like 16, 17, 15, but pre-COVID. So she's been out here. Again, she dated Bow Wow. That's why she got so mad at Bow Wow talking about I hit it for free. Yeah, because if you was making money as a bottle girl, because Bow Wow was famous, Bow Wow wasn't paying for that, and she dated Bow Wow for a minute. Bow Wow was like 5'5". Aisha's taller than Aisha. They like the same height. I think she may be an inch too taller. Like I'm Bob. She's sitting here like you because he was famous. Because people can play Bow Wow now because Bow Wow ain't as hot ain't hot no more. Just like Omarion ain't hot no more. It was at one point where Omarion was like where Chris Brown is. Like these women, he was the dude that all these women wanted. Until you get a new crop, a new generation of females, and you consider the old nigga. No, I mean I'm not trying to be funny. You think, and here's the funny thing about I told you about them Emiratis. Them Emiratis are sitting there and they're buying those bags, those Chanel bags and stuff. They're buying that underpriced because they know where how those bags are really made. So they buy them underpriced at volume, and then they know the market value of those bags retail. So when these bitches come back with bags, they're just pawning the bags or selling the bags, and that's how they're cashing out. Because if they pay them that kind of money directly, then they're not going to be able to bring it back in the United States. They're not going to bring that cash in the United States because they'll get confiscated. Because what are you really doing having cash like that? Any legitimate business is going to be wired. Any legitimate business is going to be wired. So what happens is, so that's why she got so angry at Bow Wow for saying that. Lil Bow Wow, for saying that. Because so she want to be like, oh, that's because you got a small dick. That's why Tiana Trump fucked you there. And that is defamation. Unless you can prove it. But see, when these women get mad, it gets out the window because she know. That's why she did another video talking about, yo, the problem is y'all don't understand the number. No, the problem is you're an escort. And you're basically talking rates, and it's an issue because you're basically, this is a form of groom. See, it's funny how they never frame it as them grooming young girls to get in this business. See, it's funny how they never talk about how OnlyFans, like what's that, OnlyFans is grooming girls to want to do that type of work. See, that's never called grooming. Every time people talk about grooming, it's always perceived as something, it's like something only a man can do. As if these daughters are not groomed by their mothers. Yeah. So they got to bring the bags. I know what it is. So they not really paying you all that. And if they are paying you anything near that, you dealing with older, swiveled up. Like, keep in mind, these dudes are not high on the sexual. You having to deal with fucking beards and everything. Like, you dealing with old men. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. Like, dudes that really got it like that are not, like, even London on the church. Like, dudes that ain't doing all of that. So when she's talking about, you gotta match me where I'm at, I'm like, bitch, then show me. I want to see this nigga. I want to see a nigga that gave you this kind of money. Notice how they'll never show you these dudes. They'll never show you these dudes that are giving all this kind of money out. For instance, Act bought Selena Powell a truck. Selena Powell. That chick isn't even attractive, but all you niggas like, and it's Act. Exactly. We done seen what Act can get without having to dump money on nobody. Just off his status alone. Yeah, that stop working shit is bullshit. That's some shit she's saying. First of all, if she's told, most of these dudes aren't gonna, like, how many dudes, like, you gotta really think the profile of a man that's like, okay, I want you to really, really think a profile of a man that's gonna tell a bitch if I want to stop working. What, like, seriously, if you're dealing with a dude that's really, let's say, if you're dealing with a dude that's making that kind of money, keep in mind she's in the entertainment industry. But even if she wasn't, those are going to be busy men. Those are going to be men. They're not trying to be all up on you and around you all the time. They're not trying to be around you all the time. So if you're making an argument, well, some of these men, they want access to me 24/7. No, they don't. Dudes like that are dudes that they got a lot of time on their hands. Like, you really telling, what do you mean? Like, normal people, like, even if you're not working, like, for example, let's say a bitch is not working. How much are you around her? Because you got to work. So in her mind, all of what they got investments, so they're just hanging with you all the time. They want to hang out with you 8 hours a day. Like, when you really think about that and think that through, that doesn't make sense. So it's like, well, I can't work because I can make that on OnlyFans. So you saying so you're telling me that you make 50 or 60 grand a month on OnlyFans. And then how much actual hours are you putting on OnlyFans? So you really try to act like that he's gonna be around you so much that you can't work. I mean, seriously, Aisha, like, how Aisha Diaz gets her money? What? Like, I don't even think, like, doing clubs. Okay, and she might be able to scrounge together, like, because if she does that, like, over, because remember, you only got 4 weekends you can run that play. So, and I doubt she's doing that every weekend. Okay, she may have a little OnlyFans, meaning, truth be told, what she probably got is niggas giving her money on some pussy pics or some shit like that. Which, I mean, AI is gonna dry a lot of that shit up sooner or later anyway. But so, like, it doesn't make sense. So when you're like, oh, I like as if you're not gonna be working and doing anything, like you telling me that you not gonna have time to make most of that money back if you're doing some high tickets, like, get the fuck out of here. Keep in mind, this bitch is not. This is not like a chick that's a singer or a dancer or anything like that. At best, what she does is she probably is a club promoter. She's probably a chick that club promoters come through. And the truth is, we already know what the club scene is right now. It's not as much money flying in the club scene as it was. And a lot of these clubs that do be getting all these people, she's not like part of, like, she's 35. How many motherfuckers really be like, yeah, Aisha Diaz gonna be there, yo, I'm about to go? No, you would get somebody that's legit famous. Aisha Diaz's name ain't out there like that. Not to the point where you really trying to come off of that kind of money in order for her. Like, what would you, oh yeah, I'm gonna pay Aisha Diaz like $4,000, $5,000, to come over here. For what? She ain't hot, like, she's like 35 now. She would have been 25 in 2016. She's 35 now. She ain't that bitch. Like, she ain't famous like that. So it's like, where is this money coming from? I mean, she has enough of a name where I definitely could see her getting like 15, 20,000 on her own. But her saying she getting 50, 60,000. No, that's the motherfuckers making up numbers. Like, for instance, this is what people would do. Let's say I sell a product. Let's say I sell a product that's like $1,000, but I only get like, let's say 500 out of the product. Maybe, or maybe I get like 300 out of a product because maybe it's an affiliate of another product, right? I could say, let's say I sold 30 of those products. Okay, I could say I generated $30,000 of revenue, and that'd be absolutely true. That doesn't mean how much money I actually got. I really got $3,000, not 30,000. But I could say that. I could sit here and say, and most people don't really think about the difference. So if I put a squeeze page and saying I sold X amount of dollars in my career, I can make that number hella inflated. That doesn't mean I made that much money, But see, people aren't thinking about that. And it's not me lying. It's just, I know, it's just like when you rhyme, everything doesn't have to absolutely rhyme. It can just sound similar. So a lot of these chicks, they got a big enough name that, yeah, it's definitely like ways they could cobble some money together, on different things, because they can go to clubs and get something, get something, and they probably doing that at least 2 weekends out of the month. They can, depending on where they name, but even their social media followings be halfway fake. Because a lot of them chicks, their backup channel is their real channel. It's not their real name, because a lot of times they'll take meme accounts and they'll buy a meme account and put their username over it. And because their name has some weight in social media, people still searching them and finding their page. So it looks like, that's why these people don't be having overwhelming engagement compared to what their numbers should be. They got good engagement, but it's never like 10,000 likes or something like that that would indicate they actually got, like, if you got 1 million subscribers, you should at least have 10% of people popping on every content, at least 5. But it's just enough for you not to ask questions. He said 50, 60, yeah, you damn sure could have hoes. Like, it's like, are you serious? Like, Diddy was paying
50 cents baby mama $10,000. That's about where, and that's the set, and that chick is right about where Aisha Diaz is. So it's kind of like you sitting there, I'm giving you $50,000 for what? For so you want $50,000 for me to have that pussy on retainer? And I ain't like I'm be able to access it. And trust and believe that any nigga that she's actually kind of attracted to ain't paying that. She'll, like, what are we talking about? 35-year-old single mother pussy on retainer. You might as well pay a bitch that's selling you the idea that she a virgin. And then she get mad talking about it's because of the money I'm making on my own. It's like, bitch, work. You can work. So now what? Now what? You can still work. Now, oh well, no, like that's just how she sell it. And then because there's so many niggas that want to fuck her, they're like, oh, they just go along with it. But like, bitch, that don't make sense. Yeah, because this is what it costs. And then you got dumbass broads sitting here trying to justify that because they're trying to say, well, this is what, like, bitch, I'm not paying you to not work. Some of y'all, like, I'll give you an example. Some of y'all chicks, y'all just making a rinky dink 40, y'all barely, y'all. Some of y'all chicks, like for instance, if you, because truth be told, you can drive Uber and make 60,000 a year, even where I live. So I already know in New York and in other areas you can do better. So a lot of you chicks working at Walmart, sure, you making 40,000, okay? Because I promise you, it's probably something I can have you doing with less time. This gonna be worth more money than you doing that. Or if you work at a call center, yeah. But when you talk about you making like 100, like 50, $30,000 a month, you got your own money. So we're not in a relationship then. This is just a transactional shit. In which that I'll just pay per hit. She bitch want to be on retainer, and here's what's so funny. This is the crazy part about it. This is the finesse. You really think that bitch ain't gonna be fucking nobody else? Like if you working and you out here, you ain't gonna be. She ain't gonna be up under you all the time. She is not gonna be up under you all the time. Meaning she's probably getting some money from some other nigga. This shit will have you paying $50,000 a month to have her on supposed retainer, and she probably fucking 4 or 5 other niggas on a per hit program for like 3 or 4. This is the finesse they think they doing. And it's like Aisha's a very attractive woman. She dresses well in clothes. She does. I'm not even gonna front. But the reality is, you not all that. You not all that. You not all that. You not all that. You are not all that. You are not all that to be asking for all of that. You are not Beyonce and there's some like wedding or some bar mitzvah or something like that where they want Beyonce at the concert. So they like, here's this million for you to do a couple of songs. You are not that. Stop that. Press 1 if y'all can hear me. He said, most of them type of men know they can get regular girl that's more valuable. Much the reality is when you look at chicks like dudes that would pay that, they're usually ugly. Either they're ugly, they're old, or and I promise you, if they got any kind of motion, they just not gonna pay that on principle. 50,000 is one thing. Like I could see if you a million. I could see if you just bleeding through money and you don't care like that. Dropping 10 on a bitch because you just trying to get a yes. But motherfuckers are not about to sit here and drop. I don't care how much money you got. Ain't none of these niggas billionaire. Ain't nobody about to drop no $50,000 on no bitch. Not no bitch that you can come and go. Nah. Even on some like no. Diddy was smart. If I'm gonna drop that, Diddy had Young Miami on payroll, meaning Diddy was putting Young Miami to work. Diddy was putting Young Miami to work. That was a tax write-off. Ain't nobody about to say like, bitch, I'm putting you to work if I'm giving you $50,000. No, you not about to not work because you still gotta work. You ain't getting all that money passive in all that money passive in that you make on your own. So yeah, you're working. I wish I would. These women really think if they just ask for it, they'll just get it. I mean, on some for real shit. And when you understand that, it's like, okay, that's what you want to bet. 50,000, like for real. And it's like, yo, you 35. And that's why motherfuckers deal with younger people. Because the young bitch ain't about to sit here and ask for all that. Y'all can say what y'all want to. Yep, shit, my own mother even said a bitch can't live with you for free. She gotta put in. Yeah. Because they don't respect that. Women don't respect that. Women don't have this sense of being grateful and appreciative. They don't respect that. They think you a sucker. And that's on them. They're stupid. They're dumb. They're dumb. And when women get you, I don't care what lifestyle you give them. Look at Jada Pinkett and fucking Will Smith. When they get used to some shit, they think that shit's the standard. That's why you have to remind us. Unfortunately, men don't like to do this because this is considered petty. But you have to literally manage a bitch. You literally have to let her know you can be replaced, and you can't replace me if you got like shit that's high enough. But anyway, bitch got a boutique. What? And that's why I'd be like, what's the point of you making money? What's the point of you making money if you're just going to use the money to justify me giving you more money? That doesn't make sense. And again, the people she talking about is, see, the problem is she might be able to get, see, here's the problem. She's not going to be honest about who she's getting that from. Because if she's honest about who she's getting that from, then you know absolutely, oh, you escorting. So you out here, and truth be told, I don't blame her. I really, the two entities that get on my nerves with this situation ain't even her. It's really because at the end of the day, if she can get it, she can get it. If it's some goofy she get from, which I don't think it is, by the way. I think she may have gotten that from some nigga, but I don't think she's got, and that's why she got mad about that Bow Wow thing, because she said everything, but he was lying. She said, "Talk about, oh, your dick small, you're this and that." At the end of the day, you dated him. Yeah, let's just cut the bullshit. But what I'm annoyed by is Earn It Your Leisure, because Earn It Your Leisure, I told you that's business entertainment. Nobody's serious about biz. Like, look, I like Earn It Your Leisure because it shows there's people. It's a great data mine for people that are interested in business and they kind of don't know what to do, so they listen to business entertainment. Cool, but if you're serious about business, you're not getting no information from them. That's not where you're getting your information from. That you don't, their business entertainment. They're doing that Bandman Kevo shit, that funding shit, and they're urban minded. And you don't hear them talking about. Look, when you think about buying black, when you think about buying black, they barely talk about Afrotech. Like really, real estate, like things that are like black objectives, their individual black, they're not speaking on it, even though they have more of a black audience. They're not speaking on that. They're doing this business, entertainment, hip hop bullshit. And that's why somebody like Aisha Diaz is the type of person that like Bandman Kevo should be talking to. Because that's his brand, because he's a rapper in entertainment. It should not be somebody they're talking. They platformed her on their large platform. These are, so that's them. Now, and the other people are these other boss bay chicks that are trying to, like, y'all can want what y'all want, but here's the problem: they're not getting that from other races. Here's what we know: we know you're not getting other races, white men or any other race of man, to give you that kind of money. You're not. And remember, Aisha Diaz is like Dominican. Do you really think? Do you think Amara La Negra is getting that shit out of a nigga?
And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I would fuck with Amara Negra before I look. I'm not saying Amara Negra looks better than Aisha Diaz, but I'm pretty confident I could get more out of Amara Negra than I could Aisha Diaz. Just straight up. Amara Negra is actually a pretty savvy chick because she hasn't like blown up. She's demonstrated that she actually does sell her own bikini line and stuff like that. I would give I'm not saying I would give a Marlon Negra that, but please. And I know a Marlon Negra ain't no escort. I won't say I know, but I'm pretty confident compared to Aisha that she's not. I don't know. Marlon Negra done lost all that weight. I'm not saying that Marlon Negra. I wish Marlon Negra would be like kind of in the middle of what she is now. Marlon Negra done got the straight. I'm looking for a white man, body starter kit. She done got rid of all that weight. It's very obvious she got on. She must have got on Ozempic or something. I mean, she ain't bad looking at all, but she does look different. She does look different. I could see her on Mr. Organic too. No, but the truth is, for like black people, like if I'm looking, like I use Earniture Leisure as a data mine for like black people interested in black business that are black, because so they're great for that. But as far as like actually learning some shit, nah, hell no. You definitely do better listening to Glendon and his free YouTube channel videos than you do doing that. And then I've already told you about Myron Golden. I might say John Pope, but John Pope gets on my nerves sometimes because he seems like he's a Democratic operative. But I will say John Pope is much better than Boyce Watkins. Boyce Watkins has very much disappointed me. Um, but there's certain people that's good for data mining. Like Boyce Watkins is good for data mining for black women, I guess. But yeah. But John Henry Pope is good too. And obviously Dr. Claude Anderson. But my thing is, it's kind of, but they're not serious. They're not serious. They're and look, they can be about their bag, but they're not serious. They're just not. They just not. Their stuff. I mean, it's better channels. Like I'll teach you to be rich. That Indian guy is good. I always like the YouTube channel Charisma on Command. Even though that's not business, but it actually gives you some business stuff. There's other stuff that's people that are better. Earniture Leisure is good at a background because some of these people will go in that show. But truth be told, like for them to platform somebody like that, I don't know if it's one of them trying to hit and they were bartering because Myron them do that with the Fresh and Fit. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that escort shit, and be honest about that's what you're doing. But see, obviously they don't want to. She don't want to be branded a sex worker because that'll fuck with her brand. Even though that's what she is. She is a sex worker. She's like that's a part of how she gets her money. And again, whatever. Oh, it was them boss bay chicks that was sitting there trying to justify that. And that's what my video, that's why I keep talking about it. That's what my video is going to be about. I'm going to go through like clips of chicks like trying to justify that. And it's like, first of all, you talk. Here's the problem. The problem is you're talking to regular people about irregular people money. Like once you start talking about somebody got to pay you that kind of money, you're not really talking about a relationship at that point. Because anybody that's legit got that kind of money, like if you got like 10,000 to give a bitch, then you got 10,000 to do a lot more shit when it comes to getting what you need to get out of a hoe. Why the fuck would I, like literally I would do better. I would do better importing a chick in the United States and giving her 10,000 because I know I would do better importing a chick in the United States and giving her 5,000 because I know none of these niggas are gonna match it. I would do better getting a woman, the type of female, getting vetting her. She may look good. Like for instance, let's say I get a Marilyn Negra type of chick, right? If I'm giving her first of all, I could give her 5,000 a month. Just off this bullshit. I give her 5,000 a month Probably can get kids out of her. Probably no non-black people are not non-black men are gonna really try to fuck with it. Like Hispanics ain't gonna try to fuck with it like that. White men ain't gonna try to fuck with it like that. Other black men are gonna be too broke to fuck with it. I can do, and then I can probably teach her some shit in order to make her more amenable to me, and then make it so. Because here's the thing: if you, I'm not saying obviously we know what passport bros are important bitches, but one thing that people don't deal with is if you bringing her in and her family. I'm not necessarily bringing her family over, but I will send some money back. Guess what? Now she's invested because other niggas ain't gonna do that. There's like, and I'm not saying that's the ideal situation. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just saying if you got that kind of money to do that, there's much more efficient ways to get that money. Like, truth be told, if you got like $30,000, like most NFL players ain't got that kind of money to be shelling out a month for no bitch. If you got that kind of money, you could do the Akon, you could do 2, 3 bitches. Look, like I want you to think about something. Look at what Anton is doing. Like real talk, Mika is on par with I'm not saying Mika is on par. I want you to think about this. And I'm gonna end it with this. Mika is on par with Aisha Diaz. In fact, I think Mika is younger. Mika looks better. Like I think Aisha Diaz can dress better than Mika. I will say that. But like they're the same bitch. They're the same bitch. The same bitch. Except I don't think Mika has kids. The only difference is Mika's married. Look at what Anton was able to do. You think Anton's giving Mika 50K? You think Anton is giving her 25, 10? You think Anton's giving her 5? Anton, 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 Anton. Nigga, Anton. PJ Washington ain't giving Brittany Renner that. And Brittany Renner is younger, even though I did a little better, Brittany. Like, for real. Like, seriously. Anton, nigga. And Mika's like a younger version, and probably less fucking ran through version. Shit on free. Shit skin free. Seriously. Truth be told, Six the Goddess and me and Aisha Diaz are the. Come on, man. Yeah, because Mika getting vetted. She getting vetted. The internet is investigating her ass. ICE, Internet Customers for. We need to come up with another name. It can't be Dice. I don't know, SICE. I don't know. But Internet Customs Enforcement. She getting an investigation. So like seriously, ICE should have been in the game for a minute. And to be told, you look at them old videos from Mika, like it's the same bitch. Like, are you serious? Mika basically trading shit for exposure. Say what you want to. She was in Anton is like, I could definitely see Anton, trying to do these little subliminal signals to let people know he fucking like that. Anton, man. You think Anton dropping I ain't saying he ain't got the money. You think Anton dropping? Come on, man. And if Anton can pull out, get the fuck out of here. Anton wouldn't pay that kind of money for Aisha Diaz. He said CCE. I do like the cyber thing. The cyber thing does work. No, FBI. It can't be exact same. That's what makes it fun. It's kind of like GTA rules. But I think the cyber thing works. Maybe something like Chad, like Cyber Hood, a Chip.
I don't know. But the same will. He said Bam Abadea. Uh-oh. Well, I mean, it's a lot. It's a couple of mixed bitches like Brittany Renner. Nigga, you be surprised. Like y'all niggas, nigga, you'll be surprised. I've seen some niggas, man, you be surprised what I've seen. You know, especially out here, like trust and believe, man. You be surprised. We'll workshop it. But yeah, you be surprised. But yeah, man. Yeah, shout out to this, hour forward shit. I'm still getting used to it. Hell, I'm still getting used to my younger brother being 30 years old, man. My youngest brother. Yeah, they do get snatched up quick. Them chicks is cute, but yeah. And the thing is, a lot of them white dudes don't be like. It's funny, man. That's why I be laughing when like white dudes, cause it's like yo, white dudes and black, you got exceptions to this rule, but we generally don't like the same built type chicks. I don't even know why these niggas be getting so mad. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy, man. It is absolutely insane. It's like, yo, and see, and maybe it's just numbers are more of a logical thing. But when you start dealing with numbers like that, it's like, yo, yeah, well, if you got it, you ain't broke. You got that bitch, fuck you. Because I know you fucking niggas that ain't got that. Like if you are actually sexually attracted to a dude, you not about to let that get in the way and you hopping on niggas dick. That's why she got so mad about what Bow Wow said. That's why she got so mad about what Bow Wow said. Cause she said all that to try to get away from the fact that you did date him for a minute because again he was your gateway nigga. Bow Wow used to be that was another thing about he was a gateway nigga. He was a gateway nigga to a lot of chicks. A lot of chicks like yeah he's short but dating him gives me exposure to like that network. So anyway y'all be looking out for these videos man. I appreciate it. And with that being said, yeah, this is Edward signing off. Peace.